All right, S&P. Let's get on to the daily, actually. As a matter of fact. Friday, a whole lot of nothing. Thursday sucked. So I've been short. And talk about the NASDAQ. Now, I've been in and out. Now, last week, I think I traded ES maybe once or twice. I traded NQ quite a bit. I was in SQQQ calls. I was also in SQQQ shares. I'm still in the shares. The calls did expire. Worthless. Unfortunately, I bought those calls, not sold them. So, sucks. And if you've known me for any amount of time, I usually spend more time making fun of options on TQQQ and SQQQ. They've never had the liquidity, but now that they finally are, there's some volume in there. So the past couple of weeks have kind of been in them. They're okay. Cold says he's long Bitcoin, short the S&P, all in GME. It's just the usual. We haven't really gone into futures real quick, but let me know what you guys think about this real quick. And would it, I don't know if it would correlate to the stock market. I'm sure the GME folks are all about that. GameStop is buying up Pokemon cards. They're going to get into the card business, which, if you don't know anything about that, it's actually a pretty big business. I'm very curious how that pans out. It's been around since 1999. It's something I did when I was a kid, was open up Pokemon cards. But they're buying graded cards, which I thought was... And so you send your card off, it gets a grade, comes back, gym mint, all that. Just like they do with sports cards. I'm sure a lot of people know about that. Anyway, they want to start selling singles in there, which in a digital world I think would be kind of cool. But then do they all just convert to card stores? I thought that was very interesting. If I short the S&P and make money, I'm going to send you one chocolate gold coin. Well, I hope I get that gold coin. Because right now, we played the back and forth game between these two zones, jumped up into that one. Friday, we got above the, so here we go. So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Monday, we shot up almost the expected move. Now, we held out there. We gapped it back down. And then full sin, we went for it. So a little bit of take profit Friday still had us right up there, almost 2 standard deviations. You want a Pokemon PSA 10 card? I don't really collect those. GameStop sounds like a desperate business plan. Steve, that was my first thoughts. But now, Steve, you're a business man. Gaming is very digital. GameStop used to be you had to go there to physically buy the games, the disc, the cartridge. But now you can get a remote there. You can get the console. At least this is a physical, it is a tangible item, which I thought was a move in the right direction. If you have a brick and mortar store, it's certainly going to be hard to sell a lot of those digital, digital stuff, I guess. I don't know. I'm neutral on it, but I'm certainly not buying GameStop stock. I have better things to do. Cocoa prices are extremely high. Bookstores also used to be a big thing. Very true. And then Amazon came along. All right. As far as the S&P goes, short, which sucks because this was my alert to go short. Which, anyway, I did that day. Obviously not still in. I'm not bag holding this. But what I want to see is us break down. I think I'm trying not to sound all doom and gloom. Also, I don't want to lead you guys in the wrong direction because if you're just playing the trend, you're just going to be long. Everything about this is bullish. It looks fine. Everything about this trend looks good to just be long. To say that we're overbought is essentially the same thing as walking up to a casino, like a roulette table, seeing it's landed on black the last 6 times and putting your money on red. It's not a very profitable strategy. But I do think, the volume's been lighter. The moves have been weaker. It's almost like walking on eggshells. Now, a move like this, just a red day like that, is kind of what I'm playing right now, is a pullback. Whether the market crashes, corrects, full-blown, just melts down to here. We'll cross that bridge later. What I'll end up doing is if I'm right and it sells off, I'll put my stop in the green. I'll trail it. We'll see what happens. But right now, pulling back into that yellow zone would also be a decent dip buy for anybody playing the trend. That certainly would. And it's something I'll even be doing. If we hit this zone, I will buy the ES contracts long, maybe some S&P calls, maybe some ES calls. I trade futures, but then I'm in SPY calls. It doesn't make sense. I know it. There's tax advantages. There's a million reasons why you should just be in ES calls. But anyway, that's what I'll be in. But I need to make that transition over. What I'll watch out for here is how high the Bulls take it after that. Let's see when the Bears finally get the ball, let's see how far they can run it. If we bounce here, do we base out? Do we just bounce and full send back up? So that's something I'll probably catch that knife on. It's certainly a knife catch right now to be going short, but hopefully we send it. The really stupid indicator, yeah, even that's the RSI. It's what that actually stands for, by the way. Your guru might have called it the relative strength index, but he was wrong. Man, are we even overbought on any time frame? Okay, 4 hour, we're getting close. Hour, no, gosh. This looks gonna suck. Well, going off of just that, it's gonna be a rough ride for me. That being said, I'm kind of watching ultimately. So here on the 4 hour chart, I want to see either this high break, and I'll have to just take the L. Breaking this low, I think we're going to be good. A lot of time for the market opens in the morning. All right, so the NASDAQ. So nailed the absolute peak. Yeah, right here. I was up for a little bit. Didn't lock it in. Irrelevant. And I did add on to my short. And I mean, the absolute top tick on that one, too. Got in short, added on here. So I've been green and red, currently red right now by a few pennies on SQQQ on this right now. I wanted the leverage, but I also wanted it a lot slower moving, which is why I chose that instead of calls or my normal NASDAQ futures that I'm trading. Breaks below this zone, kicking my feet up on the desk. We break into this zone again. I'm going to have to just call it. I'm not going to fight this one forever or just take a bunch of losses. I even told my group last week, and it ended up being a close week. I essentially broke even last week. I told everybody it's probably going to be a red week, which is something I haven't had in a while. I had a couple of red days. I had a couple of hedges with NASDAQ contracts that did make up for some of this. But rough. Some sold calls, sold stuff. The options that I had sold actually ended up being one of the bigger winners last week. Because premiums were so juiced and they didn't go anywhere. So not only did I get all of that premium out of the contracts, my shares didn't go anywhere anyway, which usually if you're an option seller and it expires worthless, your shares did something. So that ended up holding me up. Those things got absolutely obliterated. Anybody that bought options last week, man, got decimated. At least the ones I was in. So shout out to the people who bought the contracts from me. Would have been a very red week without you. PPI and Powell speaks Tuesday morning. Let's hope he moves some things around. We'll let that refresh while we check this out. Okay, Forex play. A lot of people like the trend line break and retest. Not something I care about or trade. Maybe you have that, and that's why you're bullish. Again, right now, that trend currently doing just fine. The volume was a little bit light. Again, why I'm short is more a characteristics play than it is a anything on here. Not that I play head and shoulders, but there's just no like obvious shapes that someone with the basic knowledge of nothing that even someone earlier in this video was like, oh, I like to draw imaginary lines. Probably has no idea what he's talking about or doing. And that's probably why he's red. And a lot of those guys right now, they see nothing. They might just see an uptrend. They might do better. Just this particular time, I don't know. It feels a little bit toppy. Being the one making the content, it makes things awkward because you're like, I'm short. You're like, why? No good reason other than I just feel like we need to be short. So it is more gut or intuition than probably anything else. A lot of this watching it live, these sell orders are coming in. Now we'll catch a bid the next day and we'll be right back up. But these sell orders are just dropping off, and I'm curious who didn't get the memo. Someone didn't get the memo, the shorts or the buyers. And when they do finally pick up, I do think there's a decent move. Now, if it's to the upside, I'll tag out. I'll take an L, and we'll move on. We'll regroup. If it's to the downside, we're rocking and rolling. Toppy, is that a technical term? I'm sure there's a guru out there that does that. I only opened 8 new trades last week rather than 20 to 25. Let's see. Busy spending time with family in Springfield. Are you still in Springfield? No, don't tell me I missed that. No. Come on back if you are. Come on back. All right, so last week we hit the expected move right to the dot and got a little bit pulled back. I've not updated these, so as far as the expected moves go, we'll have to look at that. Russell hit the speed bump zone, sold off, no big deal. This actually looks like if there's a dip buy out there, if you are, maybe even if you're as short as I am, and you want some long exposure right now, the Russell probably wouldn't be bad. It would take about 3 brain cells to take this trade. You'd go long here at the stop right below this wick. If that's going to be your high or low, you're going to be fine. No muss, no fuss. You'll have some long exposure.